Today we're unlocking the life of Andrew Jackson, America's seventh president. Nicknamed Old Hickory for his toughness, Jackson rose from a poor orphan to the highest office in the land. He reshaped American politics and left behind a legacy full of triumph and controversy. Here are 10 fascinating facts about Andrew Jackson that you probably didn't learn in school. Fact 1. The orphaned soldier. Andrew Jackson was the only U.S. president who was also a prisoner of war. As a teenager during the Revolutionary War, he served as a courier for the Continental Army. At just 13 years old, he and his brother were captured by the British. When a British officer ordered young Jackson to clean his boots, he refused, and the officer slashed him with a sword, leaving scars on his head and hand. Jackson's entire immediate family died before he turned 15. These early traumas forged the grit and ferocity that would define his life and presidency. Fact 2. The first frontier president. Jackson was the first president from west of the Appalachian Mountains, hailing from Tennessee. Before him, all presidents came from Virginia or Massachusetts, the old centers of American power. Jackson's election marked a political shift toward the growing frontier states and the rise of the common man in politics. His rough-hewn style and outsider status appealed to voters tired of elites from the eastern seaboard. Fact 3. Survived multiple duels. Jackson had a fiery temper and a reputation for dueling. He participated in dozens of duels over his lifetime, defending his honor and that of his wife. In one famous duel with Charles Dickinson, Jackson was shot in the chest and nearly killed. The bullet lodged near his heart and remained there for the rest of his life. Despite being gravely wounded, Jackson calmly aimed and killed his opponent. This combination of recklessness and resilience became part of his Old Hickory legend. Fact 4. Expanded the power of the presidency. Before Jackson, the presidency was often a passive office. Jackson changed that. He vetoed more bills than all 6 previous presidents combined and used his position to directly influence policy, setting the stage for the modern strong presidency. Supporters saw him as a champion of democracy. Critics called him a tyrant. Either way, his leadership permanently expanded presidential power. Fact 5. The Bank War. Jackson despised the Second Bank of the United States, believing it was a corrupt institution that favored the wealthy over ordinary Americans. He waged a relentless campaign to dismantle it, vetoing its recharter and pulling federal deposits out of its vaults. This bank war reshaped America's financial system, contributing to the rise of the Democratic Party and solidifying Jackson's image as a defender of the common man. Though the economic fallout was severe. Fact 6. The spoils system. Jackson also revolutionized how Washington operated. He introduced large-scale political patronage, giving government jobs to loyal supporters and party members. Critics called it the spoils system, accusing him of rewarding cronies and weakening the government's professionalism. But the practice stuck and became a permanent feature of American politics. Fact 7. The Indian Removal Act. One of the darkest parts of Jackson's presidency was signing the Indian Removal Act of 1830. This law authorized the forced relocation of Native American tribes from their ancestral lands in the Southeast to areas west of the Mississippi River. The result was the infamous Trail of Tears, during which thousands of Native Americans suffered and died. Even at the time, the policy was controversial and deeply criticized, and today it's remembered as one of the gravest injustices in U.S. history. Fact 8. The only president to pay off the national debt. Despite his controversial policies, Jackson achieved something no other president has, completely paying off the national debt. In 1835, for a brief moment, the U.S. owed nothing. The only time in history this has happened. It was a point of pride for Jackson, who distrusted debt as much as he distrusted banks. However, the economic turmoil that followed showed how difficult it was to maintain a debt-free government. Fact 9. Survived an assassination attempt. In 1835, a man attempted to shoot Jackson at point-blank range outside the U.S. Capitol. Incredibly, both of the attacker's pistols misfired, Jackson, then nearly 70 years old, charged at his would-be assassin and beat him with his cane until onlookers pulled him off. It was the first recorded assassination attempt on a sitting U.S. president, and it only added to Jackson's image as indestructible. Fact 10. Married in scandal. Jackson's marriage to Rachel Donaldson was a source of lifelong pain. Rachel believed she was divorced from her first husband when she married Jackson, but the divorce wasn't finalized, making her technically guilty of bigamy. Political opponents used the scandal to attack Jackson during the 1828 campaign. Rachel died shortly after Jackson's election, and he always blamed the vicious attacks for her death. He even fought duels over her honor. Andrew Jackson's life was a mix of resilience, controversy, and transformation. He rose from an orphan soldier to a president who reshaped American politics, expanded the power of the presidency, and left behind both achievements and deep scars on the nation. Which of these facts surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next era we unlock.